everyone. It's your good friend Wendy, and you're listening to the Reaching Out with Reach podcast, the show that brings you discussions and topics surrounding community, prevention, and recovery. On today's episode, we have our very own Holly with a very special podcast.
Hey, everybody. Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening. Hello, and thank you for being here. I'm so excited about today's topic and for the opportunity to get to talk to you guys. My name is Holly. I am one of the youth prevention specialists here at Reach Council. You may be wondering, what exactly does a youth prevention specialist do? And that is a great question, and one that I get asked quite a bit. Whenever someone asks what I do for work, or if I have to fill out forms and it asks for my occupation and there's a drop-down menu, my title is never there. So usually I'll write it in, but people always want to know more. But at Reach Council, our mission is to support safe and healthy choices that are vital to the well-being of youth, families, and communities. And we do this through prevention education. There's programs designed to reduce substance use and promote positive behaviors in young people. So it never fails that every time I explain what I do, the most common follow-up question is, so it's like DARE. This question's a little bit repetitive, and the answer kind of seems to be scripted because of how often I say it. But I actually really love this question because here's the thing. The fact that most grown adults still remember DARE just tells me how powerful and lasting prevention programs can be. And my hope is that the students that I get to work with will remember me and the lessons I shared with them when they're adults. So every day I travel to different schools across Ellis and Johnson County. Every day I'll teach a different curriculum that our program offers over a course of 8 to 10 weeks. So this particular school semester, I worked in 4 different schools. On Tuesdays, I taught Kids Connection at an elementary school in Midlothian. On Wednesdays, I brought our Positive Action program to 7th graders at Laughlin Middle School in Joshua. On Thursdays, I also taught Positive Action to 6th graders in Red Oak. And then on Fridays, I got to teach life skills training, which is my favorite curriculum, for 6th graders back in Midlothian. Each of these programs touches on more than just substance use prevention. We cover things like self-esteem, managing stress, social skills, assertiveness, emotions, and more. These are real-life tools that help students grow into resilient, thoughtful, emotionally intelligent individuals. I want to tell you guys about my time on Wednesdays at Laughlin Middle School in Joshua. What an incredible experience. I bought a t-shirt to represent Laughlin Middle School because I just genuinely loved my time there. There was this teacher, Miss Maxfield, she just stood out to me in a really special way. She just made sure every one of her students got every single ounce of information that I was there to share. For every 8 weeks, she had each one of her students write me at least 3 questions. So every time I visited, each of her about 60 students would hand me a piece of paper at the end of their class with 3 questions on it. So 60 students a week. By the end of the 8 weeks, I had over 1,400 questions. I have read every single one. I've shared them with friends. I've shared them with my kids. They are all neatly stacked in a pile on my desk, and I reference them as my little pile of love. If I ask my kids for them to bring something off my desk, I'll say, it's next to my pile of love. And while a lot of the questions are silly, the majority are very heartfelt and thoughtful and just genuine. Can I just say, as a mom, I'm sitting here recording this, sitting next to a laundry mountain and staring down Dish City in the sink and stepping over Backpack Boneyard in my front entryway, which is where the backpacks go to rest after a long day, even though I've said a million times to hang them up. It just means the world to me to feel heard and appreciated. Can I get an amen? While these questions are technically meant for me, I just want to share some of them here because, parents, these are the kinds of questions that can spark an incredible conversation between you and your kids. Some of these kids wrote me questions asking specifically about me. So I will share some of those, but I also just had to make sure that these kids didn't go unnoticed. They took the time to write me these questions, and there's no way I could sleep without knowing that I never answered them. I really struggled trying to figure out how I would answer 1,400 questions and get them back to these kids in time before they went to the next grade. So here I am. I told them I'd figure out a way, and I think they will be happy to know that they have been chosen for this month's episode. So shout out to Miss Maxfield's 3rd and 5th period. Thank you for writing me such wonderful questions and for all your sweet notes and pictures and compliments. They meant so much to me. I did my best to kind of organize the questions by category of what they were asking, and a lot of them are duplicates. Some of them were silly. So I'm just going to go in order by what I have organized. And the first one says, why is it important to be kind? My answer is, I think it's important to be kind because, as the saying goes, treat others as you want to be treated. So when someone treats you unfairly and you choose to respond with kindness, you're not only showing them how you want to be treated, but you're also setting an example of how to be kind. I think it's just a powerful way to influence others to go in a positive direction. Maybe they don't know how to be kind, and you showing them kindness is a good way to help them learn that. There's a couple on here about peer pressure and making good decisions and how to stay away from peer pressure when your really good friends are influencing you to do something that you don't want to do. I just have to say that friends can have significant influence on us, and sometimes a friend might start gossiping about somebody and you might feel tempted to join in. You know that uneasy feeling when something doesn't sit right with you? Maybe you don't really want to talk about that person, but you find yourself caught up in the moment. Maybe you're frustrated about the same things. If you don't like doing that, but often find yourself in these situations, it can be tough. But with any situation, it's important to always remember that you are your own person and stand firm in your beliefs and your decisions. You can only control yourself, and ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to deal with the consequences of any situation, whether that be good or bad. If you as a person are someone who identifies as someone who does not gossip and doesn't like to talk behind people's backs, stand firm in that. When you are around people, even if they're good friends, you can choose to say, hey, I'm not someone who likes to gossip. I would rather step away from this conversation. Could we talk about something else? Refuse to participate. So just politely but firmly change the subject. Excuse yourself from the conversation. Say, I'm not comfortable discussing this. How about we talk about something else? Or I'm just really not interested in getting involved in this. You could challenge the gossiper. You can say, are you sure that's true? Or how come you're telling me this? This approach encourages critical thinking and discourages the spread of unverified information. You could defend the person. You could say, hey, I don't think it's very nice that you're talking about so-and-so when they're not here to defend themselves. I don't think I would like to be talked about behind my back, and I don't think you would either. So can we just change the subject and move on, please? It's just important to set boundaries. Let the gossiper know that you're not interested in hearing negative information about others. This establishes your own values and discourages them from gossiping to you in the future. It also prevents you from spreading any untrue information about someone else or just talking negatively about someone else, because there can be times when you're frustrated about something that someone else is frustrated about, and then you both just start talking about it, and then it continues down this rabbit hole of venting, and then you just start saying, oh, well, they also did this, and this, and then you start to question their character, and just don't do it, okay? Not just gossiping, though. This goes along with anything that you don't feel comfortable with. If it's, smoking, vaping, if you have your knowledge about it and you feel a certain way about it, stand firm in that and don't let anyone persuade you. You are your own person. Remember that. The next question is more about time management. there are questions that say, how can I be more organized? My advice is that calendars save lives. They save lives. You cannot write stuff down enough, in my opinion. There are some people who can just remember things I cannot. I am not that person. But if you are, more power to you. But in my professional opinion, I believe that calendars, organizers, planners save your life. Write down what you have to do that day. Write down what you're going to need that day. Another way to be organized is to make sure you have a day that you just clean out your backpack. Or if you're that person that struggles with laundry. Yes, I'm talking about myself. I have no tips for you. Hire someone. But if you are the person who has a bunch of junk drawers in their house, take a day out of the month on your calendar that you are going to organize at least one of them. Take a day out of your calendar that you are going to remove 10 things that you no longer use anymore. This just helps get rid of clutter, and don't realize the stuff that we accumulate until it gets to be too much. So just making sure that you're staying on top of things and writing it down. The next one is, how do I manage my energy? And this is a great question, and it's very important that you get enough sleep. Teenagers need at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night for optimal health and development. If you are one of the students that I taught and you are listening, I know that you know the answer to this. Every single one of you got it right on your test, but your brain is not fully developed until you're 25 years old. You have to protect it. To do that, you need sleep. Put your phone on the other side of the room to go to sleep at night. Don't lay there and scroll until you fall asleep. Practice good sleeping habits. Are you the person that sleeps with a box fan? Because I am. Find out what makes you comfy and what helps you sleep better, and do those. Practice good sleep skills because they are the most important and the most vital to your development. How can I have better time management is the next question. And my question back is, why are you asking me this? I'm just kidding. But if you are like me and you struggle with time management, if you are just busy, and you have all of the things to do, the best way to prioritize your time is what's the most important? What's due first? What do I absolutely have to do? What can be delegated to another day? Not everything can be done in a day, and it's okay if you don't finish unless you have a deadline or a due date. But when you do, that's when you manage your time. You prioritize what you have to do. Set timers. If you need to work on something, but you also have something else to do, set a timer for, let me do this for an hour. Let me do this for 30 minutes. We don't realize how quick time goes by until we're out of it. I've done my best to summarize this next group of questions, and parents, if you're listening, I just encourage you to hear me when I'm reading these questions that these kids have asked, because these are great opportunities for you to open up and talk with your kids. I'm going to read these next questions individually and then give just one big general answer at the end, but here it goes. The first one says, is it easy being a grown-up? The next one, how do you handle stress? What do you do when you feel sad? Do you ever feel angry? Do grown-ups have conflict with their coworkers? If so, how do they handle it? What is something you wish you knew at our age? How do you have so much courage? How do you deal with your emotions as a professional? How do you stay so happy all of the time? How can I handle my stress when grown-ups say that I shouldn't even have stress? I feel it. Is everything better as a grown-up? How do you always keep your positive self-concept? What do you do when you doubt yourself? How do you maintain self-control all of the time? Questions like these were the most questions that I got, and they sit different with me, guys. I don't know if anyone else had a similar feeling as a kid, but I just remember looking up to adults and teachers thinking how perfect they are. that they can do no wrong. And I think it's just important that kids know that we are imperfect. I think it's important to acknowledge and apologize if we make a mistake or if we do something wrong. Kids, I'm here to tell you that we as grown-ups make mistakes. We are not perfect. I will speak for myself and tell you I am not perfect. Yes, sometimes I feel sad, and yes, sometimes I feel angry. Those are emotions, and emotions are, as I taught you, okay to have. It's just how we handle our emotions. I can promise you I am not happy all of the time. Yes, sometimes I get stressed out. And yes, sometimes we don't always react or handle those emotions the right way, even as grown-ups. Even me, the person teaching you these things, I don't have it right all the time. So I'm here to tell you that it is okay if you mess up. It is okay if you make a mistake. That's how you learn. Making mistakes helps develop resilience and provides an opportunity to learn and to never give up. If kids see us make mistakes and they see us acknowledging them and learning from them, that's the best way to guide them and help them to do the same. Guys, talk to your kids about how you've made mistakes, how you've handled them, how you handle your different emotions. Not everybody can handle their emotions the same way. Not everybody has the tools or the knowledge, and they have to learn these things on their own. But we can help them just by being real and honest and having some grace. Because yes, kids get stressed out too. It may not be the same as grown-ups stressed out, but I just encourage you to have these conversations and use this as a good teaching moment for emotions and mistakes, and just let kids know that we struggle with the same things that they struggle with, and we're not perfect. This next one I got a couple of times, and it's in reference to a picture that we share in one of our alcohol lessons. It's a picture of a shot of liquor, a glass of beer, and a glass of wine. And there's usually a question with this picture, and it'll say, which of these contains the most alcohol? And I didn't even know the right answer until I started teaching this. Each one contains the same amount of alcohol. So one shot of liquor is equal to one serving of beer, which is equal to one serving of wine. So a 1.5 ounce shot of liquor is equivalent to 5 ounces of wine and 12 ounces of 5% beer. So the question was, how are they equal? The answer is wild. So in that 1.5 ounce shot of liquor, there's usually about 40% alcohol in that tiny amount of liquid. And in a 5 ounce glass of wine, there's usually about 12% of alcohol. And then in 12 ounces of beer, there's usually 5% of alcohol. So while the volumes differ, the amount of pure alcohol is roughly the same in each one, which is why they're considered equal in the terms of alcohol content. The next question is, how can I improve my self-confidence? And all I can say is positive affirmations, positive affirmations, positive affirmations. We sometimes are just stuck in a way of thinking, whether it be a insecurity that we have or something that we once told ourselves that now we just tell it to ourselves every single time we make a mistake, whether it be you got a bad grade on a test or you missed the bus and now you're late. So you tell yourself, oh, I'm stupid, or oh, I'm not good enough, or I just always mess up. If you are telling yourself that every single time you make a mistake, eventually you're going to believe it. So it's going to come naturally to say these things when you mess up. Now, anytime that we do something wrong, even if it's the tiniest, simplest thing, we're going to tell ourselves that we're stupid. We're not actually stupid. It's just what we tell ourselves, and that brings our self-confidence low. And eventually that can get in the way of so many things. You might feel like you're not good enough for that promotion, or you're not good enough to try out for that team, or you're not smart enough, or whatever it may be. It is important to retrain your brain into the truth, which is, I am smart. I just didn't study hard enough, or I am good enough to try out for that team. I just need to practice more. We're so easily focused on the negative that it's hard to bring the positive to light sometimes. We have to retrain our brain to see that positive. And the number one way to do that is positive affirmations. I am smart enough to do this. I can do this. I am smart. Look at all the times that I did this and this and this. Look at all the things I've accomplished. I made a mistake. But yes, I am smart. I am strong enough. I am good enough. I can do this. Telling yourself these things over and over and over will eventually rewire your brain into remembering the truth. That is how you can improve your self-confidence. Get some sticky notes. Put them on your mirror. Write down the things that you like about yourself, the things that you want to improve. Give yourself compliments. Accept compliments that are given to you. Try something new. You have no idea what you can do if you don't try. Which brings me to my next question. Some of these questions were specifically for me and they were kind of silly. But the first one was, what is your favorite memory? Which was a hard question, but I have to say the most recent was last year for Thanksgiving. I made a turkey for the first time all by myself. I was so nervous because everyone always talks about how hard it is to make a turkey and how easy it is to mess it up. But I had that in my head the whole time and I was so worried. But I did it. I made a turkey and my friends and family said it was actually the best turkey that they'd ever had. And I don't think that they were lying, and I did not pay anybody to tell me that. So it just goes to show that you can do anything that you set your mind to. The next one was, what is your favorite soccer team? And I have to be honest, I know absolutely nothing about soccer except for maybe the guy that you guys talk about all the time, Cristiano something. Please don't cancel me. The next one is, what is your favorite grade to teach? And I have to say, I love middle school. Middle school rocks. The next one says, what is your favorite school to teach? I don't think I'm allowed to answer that question, but I will say that I've never made an entire podcast episode for an entire school before, so. The next one is, what is your favorite thing about your job? And I have to say, teaching kids, interacting with them, and then learning from them as well. I love my job. The next one is, what is your least favorite thing to do? I'm gonna have to go with putting away laundry. So to all the parents, students, and listeners out there, thank you for joining me. I hope this sparks some great conversations at home, in classrooms, or wherever you are. And to my wonderful, amazing students, I told you guys I'd find a way to answer all of your questions, and here we are. This episode is dedicated to you. I am thankful for you and this amazing semester that we had. I hope that y'all have a great remainder of your school year and a wonderful summer. I hope to see you all again sometime soon, and hopefully y'all have a wonderful start of your next school year. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Holly, you did a great job answering those students' questions. Love it. Well, that about wraps up our episode. As always, if you're wondering how you can help, you can join our coalition meetings, or you can support our youth and family programs with a tax-deductible donation or food gift card. For more information, you can email us at info@reachcouncil.org. That's info@reachcouncil.org, or you can find us on social media. Thanks for listening to our show. Stay tuned for ongoing monthly podcasts from our REACH teams on all things prevention and recovery. So remember, life is full of choices, so choose happy and choose healthy. Bye.